Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Caleb Davis Show. With me as always, my man J-Mo over here.
What's up?
Yeah. I am your host, Caleb Davis, and it's a thrill to be back with you again. Had a good time talking about riffs last week.
Absolutely, that was a blast. Been listening to Sabbath like nonstop.
Has it picked back up some
man.
things? Yeah.
Snowblind in particular.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I had a kind of a riff heavy week myself, I think.
Oh yeah.
I went back to some like Kamchatka, like you had brought up. I actually pulled out some Muse a lot.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting thing. Somehow I missed them.
Oh, I'm not familiar.
So they were really big. You know, they came out in early 2000s maybe.
After high school, so early 2000s.
Yeah, and they were huge. I mean, they were huge. You can look at concerts of them. They're selling stadiums out and stuff. Somehow I just missed them.
I'm not familiar.
But I went back and got them. They're great.
Good
Knights
for
of
you.
Sidonia, Mercy. Yeah, it's good stuff. Jay, what's been new, man? What are we talking about today?
So today we're going to talk about, today is an opportunity for you, because we care about you, to get to know about us a little bit more. And the way that we want you to get to know us a little bit more is through our life's experience with music, which most of you probably have some life experience with music, but with us, there's a very formative aspect of our life. So that thing's gonna do what it wants.
It is. It's got a mind of its own.
Focus, squirrel. So what we're gonna do is just talk a little bit about growing up with music, and I'll just start off by asking a question. Caleb, how old were you when you started playing guitar?
I was 10.
10 years old.
Yeah, I was 10 years old. The first time I picked up a guitar,
Mm-hmm.
I was 10. Yeah, and then it was on like Donkey Kong. It never left my hands.
And your dad played.
Yeah, well, so this is interesting. My dad was a professional musician, as you know, but you all don't know. My father was a professional musician growing up. Actually, that's a lie. Growing up, my dad didn't play a thing.
Yeah.
Before I was growing up, before I existed, my dad was a professional musician.
When he was growing up.
And then when he started having children, when he was growing up, that's right. And he had some cool things. He had some cool experiences. I think he played for Conway Twitty. Had some cool things like that. But yeah, so when he started having children, I have other siblings. When he started having us, it was time to go into the real world and get a real job. Unlike his son, who refuses to go into the real world.
Absolutely. Stick to your guns, folks.
You know? But you know what's cool? So as we're going into this, as we do this, and maybe this is more for you guys than it is for Justin, but I think part of, like, when we do these things, when we have these events and these top fives and we discuss albums, in general, our purpose is to inspire you. In some of the similar ways we were inspired as kids growing up. Now, we didn't have YouTube, and we didn't have a couple of Wayne's World knockoffs sitting around in their music room making videos. But, you know, like we came across it, I would assume, organically.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
But nonetheless, like, if there are things we can offer that can maybe, and this is not for young kids, so it just happened that we were young kids. But if you're a person who's never gotten into music before, and you all of a sudden say, you know what, I would kind of like to do this. You need inspiration too. Like, you need to find out, who did we listen to growing up? Who are players that inspire people to play? Because the truth is, not everyone inspires people to play. It's just, you know, I mean, I've had, so I teach, Justin and I, we work together all the time, so we teach every day. Yeah. And we have students from 4 years old to 84 years old. I think is my old 80. He's 83. Yeah. And we have lots of adult students who just pick it up for the first time. And one of the cool things is you see it in their eyes when they hit something that maybe triggers some sort of inspiration in their own, own guitar playing journey, and they go, "Oh wow."
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same look we got when we were 10, 11, 12 years old.
Absolutely.
They just are 40 years old, 50 years old, and it's coming. So the point of all this, I think, is really cool. We're going to talk about how we came about to doing this, but it's really all we're trying to offer you every episode, which is really interesting.
Absolutely, yeah. So, because I think you just absolutely make a decision to get into music at some point, and it may something grab you that's unintentional or subconscious, or it may be that it's a really nice idea, and you listen to people talk about being into records and like just kind of throwing names around and throwing record titles around and talking about vinyl or talking about this and that and influences, and you just want to get into that conversation.
Yeah.
Because it's a cool thing to do, to listen to music. So absolutely, I'm with you. I think that it's a really good way for us to try to help you just think through how music can be a fun part of your life, you know?
Some people do it with sports.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, they do it with, and we're guilty of that. We're big baseball fans.
For sure.
And a lot of our friends are baseball fans, and baseball fans, by the way,
Different breed.
they are. And I don't
Absolutely.
mind saying it. I'll go on out there on a limb. Here it comes. You ready? I'm stepping out.
Get it?
Baseball fans are the coolest.
How many games we commit to?
We commit to 162 games a year, and that's if our team loses.
Oh, that's right, man.
You're talking about 180 something, 190 something games if we keep on winning.
I'm just gonna say,
which we don't.
that makes like a diehard NFL fan look kind of like a chump.
Yeah, you got a good solid 3 months, 4 months.
Oh yeah, 12 games or something.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's
with
tough.
a bye week worked in there.
That's tough,
Yeah,
man.
1 game a week, baseball every day.
Every day.
Those boys get out there. What are we talking about?
Tuesday,
right
baseball.
now? In the heat of the summer, and let's just go ahead and say that the best baseball is not in April when season opens, and it's not in October when the season's wrapping up.
No.
The best baseball is not during pennant race.
No.
It is in August
Second week of August.
when people are so tired
Death's doorstep.
and they are so worn out and they are so hot all the time that if you throw an inside pitch, you might as well be ready to fight.
It's going down, man.
And that's when baseball gets good, and you can tell homies
man.
are just up there like, I am so sick of this right now.
So watch it. I'm going to connect this together. I'm going to bring this full circle.
Please do.
I
Please
am.
do.
Here we go. Baseball. Baseball. I grew up playing guitar. I started playing guitar when I was 9. On my 9th birthday, I got a guitar. My dad played guitar. He started late in life. I was into it. He was into playing bluegrass and stuff like that. So that's what I grew up kind of associating with guitar more than rock and roll initially.
Yeah.
All of that. There was some other stuff, but I knew of Caleb as a guitar player in town. The first time we talked about getting together and playing guitar together was in the 7th grade at baseball practice.
Is that right?
It is. It was at Holbrook. Holbrook
dang.
Middle School. At baseball practice, we were talking about that we both played guitar. And then we ended up getting together. And it was in my room when it was the other room. And I had a bunch of incense and the
There's always a
instrument
bunch of
cable.
incense.
Yeah, the instrument cable that was the coil one
Yep.
and the Squire.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
whole thing.
good stuff.
Absolutely.
So we go back farther than that.
Yeah,
Is it further or farther?
it's a long way. I think it's farther back. Further back.
I play music for a living.
Hey man.
I don't write grammar.
No.
So we go back to preschool, and we said that in one of the introduction videos that we
Yeah.
go back that far. But there was, I forget, there was that separation period where I think we
Elementary
went to
school.
different elementary schools, and then we got back to being pals in in junior high, middle school, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when, and somewhere in that gap, we both started playing the
'Cause
guitar.
I had played bluegrass, and then at that time, and because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you kind of always initially you had some like classical music influence, and your dad was pretty well versed and eclectic. But a lot of it too was like just Pink Floyd and Jeff Beck and stuff that people might inaccurately just lump into classic rock. But that was a lot of your
Yeah, and so my dad was super huge in my musical development. Yeah, so like early on, now I would say that the biggest influence, and you'll remember this when I say this, you would not automatically say this if I just came out there with it. Early on, the biggest influence in my life musically, and this is so weird because I grew up in the 90s, was Elvis.
Oh yeah.
Elvis was it, brother.
Yeah.
I mean,
Caleb
walk
sounds
through
like
a party in the county jail. The prison I mean, dude, come on. like as a kid, that was awesome. It's still awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and then even to like watch him do his thing, man. Elvis is like an alien. He was never like a real person.
Yeah.
But that was my early on was Elvis, and that's so weird because if you if you look at John Lennon interviews,
right,
he says early on it was Elvis.
Right.
If you look at if you, dude, I've heard Lemmy from Motorhead say
Elvis.
Early on, I thought it was Elvis. You know, it's like everybody goes back to Elvis, which is hilarious because there wasn't until probably this past 10 or 15 years where there was this huge divide when media changed and you know the form of listening changed, and I don't think people are as influenced now by the classics as they were when even we were growing up.
You didn't have a lot of choices. Like this was the classics.
Yeah.
And this was what you got. Like,
yeah. I think now people would look at Guns N' Roses and things like that. Like younger kids look at GNR and they go,
Kansas.
That's my dad's music, you know. And like, you know, I go back and look at Elvis and think, you know, that was what my parents were digging.
Yeah.
But that's what I do. And oddly enough, some of the first records I ever bought, I put out here on purpose. This is one of the 5 first records I ever bought. Edgar Winter's White Trash Live Roadwork. So this is White Trash live at the Apollo Theater.
Great album.
And these boys don't let up one bit.
They burn it down.
And then another one, this was in the top 5 albums, was the Jeff Beck Group debut, the Orange.
Yeah,
I call it Orange. It's just called the Jeff Beck Group. But definitely Maybe and that stuff. Those had massive impact on me. Jeff Beck in particular did. And then one of the others, and I don't have the other 2, but Metal.
Yeah.
Metal was my first Pink Floyd, folks. This is your introduction to Pink Floyd, and you stay hooked, you're bound to be an outcast as a kid growing up.
So these albums he's talking about, so Roadwork, Metal, Orange, Jeff Beck Group, all of that kind of stuff, Caleb introduced me to probably around that same middle school, because about the time we started kicking it, like middle school baseball age, playing music, I was really into like Nirvana and Bush and
you were
those kind of bands that, and then I bought a BB King CD or got it from a birthday. I don't know what made me ask for a BB King CD.
Which one was it?
It was like a greatest hits. Like a BB King. I forget. I don't even have it anymore. But that initial thing of like just a less crazy, more polished sounding blues for the first time changed the trajectory. So that at the same time as Caleb turning me on to this stuff, because I was a roller coaster of like country and bluegrass, and then like alternative rock and blues and classic rock, and it still kind of stayed that way for a long time.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh no,
nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah. What would you say was the most impactful? Doesn't have to be a band, but like which area of music was the most impactful?
Man, I think it's so tonally, sonically, it was the bluegrass stuff.
Really?
Because I still, even through all the heavy stuff, I was always more drawn to, if I was spending my time with a guitar, to an acoustic guitar. It still feels more like home than electric guitar.
Yeah.
I exclusively played acoustic guitar for like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years before I got an electric guitar.
Well, still to this day, when we work together, primarily, if we're in a group setting and we're doing, like for instance, a couple years ago, Justin and I participated in this amazing thing where we and about 25 other musicians, it felt like, it was probably 15 of us.
A ton of people,
we recreated the whole White Album, like cover to cover.
It was awesome.
It was amazing. No breaks. Just one song after the next, and we did the entire White Album. And I played keys the whole time, and pretty much the whole time you were the acoustic player.
Yeah.
You played some, but anytime there is a gap now where we need acoustic, it's never a question. It's like, Justin's the acoustic. Because I do believe that's like, even though it's the same, it's a completely different instrument. It's like telling an organ player that he's also a piano player.
Yeah, it is. It's a whole other thing playing electric guitar. So that, I think, like, just what appealed to my ear and still kind of has is that. But the Nirvana was probably the first band that I got like obsessed with, that I really felt like a connection to music, and I thought like, man, this stuff is, for whatever it's saying something or it's just evoking something.
Yeah.
Nirvana was the band that really kind of got a hold of me.
And that was a pivotal age too, when
yeah.
rebelliousness is kind of a big factor.
I think I got into them in like 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
Like that's when I was.
There's nothing rebellious about bluegrass.
Not really.
I mean, there's really not.
It's pretty safe.
Yeah.
I mean, listening to Doc Watson and stuff is cool, but yeah.
I mean, and they can even be singing about rough stuff, but it's just not rebellious.
It's
You know what
not.
I'm saying? Yeah. So I think for you that probably played a big part in like. I remember when you changed.
Yeah.
Like when your clothing changed, and it changed a few times.
Yeah.
But you initially in middle school were very grunge. Like I remember that for some reason.
Yeah.
I didn't think you owned a pair of Jinkos, didn't you?
I own several pair of Jinkos, folks.
Yeah, you
Let me
did.
just endorse that real quick. Go get you some Jinkos. And they had different kinds. Like I had the skunks.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Hashtag Jinkos.
I never
I
wore
like that.
Jinkos.
Oh, that's you weren't cool.
No, listen.
I totally had Jankos.
Yeah, baby. Yes.
you did.
The bigger
Yes.
the better.
Oh man, yeah. Like hovercraft, just like can't even see my feet.
Oh, I remember some of them look like dresses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're just hovering around.
I'll tell you this: I was always fashionably aware, but fashionably out of tune, and I never ever didn't wear tight pants
Oh yeah.
through elementary, through middle school, through high school, through adulthood, through now. I've always wore. Well, I shouldn't say tight pants, but I've always
like
worn
tighter than
like
fashion.
like tight pants, because I mean I grew up looking at pictures in the Fender front line of Lenny Kravitz, and I was like, he ain't wearing Jinkos. I want to be like Lenny Kravitz.
That's right.
So I would wear those. That's hilarious. But then you switched to in high school, guys. Now hold on. Let me just do a little sidebar here.
Yeah.
I'm leaving him out of this. I'm talking to you now.
That's right.
Justin, in high school, so we went all the way through school together. My man would take the tightest pants he could get. Some of those, I'm not even going to say were made for males. Would I be accurate in that? Some of those bell bottoms.
Oh yeah. They didn't make. Listen. Let me just.
Defend yourself for
They
a
didn't
moment.
make bell bottoms for
It's true.
guys, but they made flare jeans for girls.
Well, let's call them unisex, because I had a
Unisex
pair of them too, maybe two. I had maybe two, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when they didn't really make bell bottoms. And you remember we would
yeah.
cut slits up the sides of them so they would flare out,
Mm-hmm.
and we would take
in.
the hem out the bottom of the blue jeans so that the bottom would flare.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. So Justin went from kind of the grunge thing to he would take his pants. Now this was a true story, and you think I'm going to make this up? Everything he had been tied up with rubber bands and dipped into dye. He tie-dyed every piece of clothing he had. Pants, shirts, jackets, everything that could be tie-dyed, he did. So that joker would walk around, and it was cool looking tie-dye. It wasn't like orange and blue and purple. It was all like white. Just like whatever color was my
Because
normal
it was
jeans.
Clorox. It wasn't like. I
Yeah.
mean, that was like. And like it would, after I decided to tie dye something with Clorox, it would only last you like a year because it would just eat holes into it.
Yeah, that's
you-
true.
You didn't have to throw all that stuff away. Oh man.
Yeah. So, and the other thing was Justin would wear his button shirts, right? But he would only button one button right here, and everything would just be flowing out. And he'd have a cigarette stuck out of this side of his mouth. And he had long hair then too,
Oh, yeah.
and he'd have that one little button right there in the middle, and he would just walk around, and he owned everywhere he went, and that was it.
You know,
I think my thing was hair.
hair. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I had mohawks, long hair, mullets.
Let me tell you this now. Caleb Davis. We'll do the same thing. I'm gonna take a little break from this. I'm just gonna talk to you. This dude will lift some weights, athlete to the max.
Can't you tell?
I mean, straight up, the dude's an athlete. Played great baseball player, ran track and all this stuff. The dude also wore eyeliner. And it's not, and listen, hear me.
It's so
It's
true.
not like this one time in high school, Caleb put eyeliner
I think
on.
I wore it last week.
Yeah. Yeah, and at the time, like, Caleb's got real curly hair, or did.
Yeah.
And He could never get long hair. He just got like an afro. Really.
Big old afro, yeah.
So dude was afroed out, eyeliner. It was
We have to pull some pictures
it
out.
was a time to be alive.
I've got some pictures. We'll see if we can post them of this.
Oh, absolutely.
That's good
Most
stuff.
certainly we should.
So you and I started playing in bands together early on.
Yeah.
And I would say that we continued playing in bands pretty much from, would you say, early high school? I think about early high school.
9th, 10th grade.
Yeah, all the way through till now.
Yeah.
So we've been in bands together for 20 years.
Absolutely.
At least. Maybe more. Jeez,
Sure.
I don't want to say if it's more. We played we played at tailgate parties.
Tailgate parties, battle of the bands.
Oh, yeah. And this is what's crazy.
Yeah.
So we were not old enough to go work in clubs, although we did that some.
Mm-hmm.
We played places we were old enough to be in. That's actually how I met my wife.
Dang, I was there. I remember it.
True story. Yep.
story.
I think you were up there without a shirt on.
Probably.
Oh, pause. This is the tell-all times.
Oh gosh.
We're playing. And by the way, here's a left turn from the left turn, and then I'll come back around. So, kids, students of ours who are always like, dude, how do we get started? We want a gig. What do we do? I tell them every time, do what we did.
Yeah, dude.
Find a place to play at your school. Now, that may be harder and harder to do now because you can't sing with a mask over your face, but let's assume all this passes,
Right.
which hopefully it will, but this is what you do. You go to your high school and you say, hey, can we play for the pep rally?
Absolutely.
Can we play before the football game?
Absolutely.
Can we play at a fundraiser?
Anything.
Anything. Can we play at the fall carnival? Can we play at whatever?
Listen, me and Caleb and a classically trained piano player named Nathan Dalton. Nathan, if you happen to see this, what's up, dude? Played at a barbecue restaurant.
Yeah, we did.
That could seat maybe 20 people in Gastonia. That
Yeah,
was
we
one
did.
of the first gigs I ever played.
Unreal. I forgot about that.
I mean, you just do what you can do.
Yeah.
I knew the guy. I went to church with the guy who owned the place. We got a gig. I mean, I don't even remember if we got paid, but we played like
no.
some weird stuff. I mean, we played Saint Tropez off Metal. I do remember that.
Yeah. Well, we were never a shortage of playing cool
Oh
music.
yeah, man.
Yeah. But no, and that's it. So you always go and
Hustle.
just get whatever you can get, and it doesn't change. So when you grow up, unless you become a famous musician, and you're still what I would consider us to be blue collar musicians,
Working.
and that's a weird term, and I think I may have invented that, but a
Yeah.
blue collar musician. Not that famous musicians don't work hard. I'm not saying that. It's a different kind of work. All right, they have to deal with a lot more stuff that we don't have to deal with. But what we do have to deal with is constantly hustling for ourselves, going out and getting gigs, lining things up. And that starts when you're 12 years old and you want to play a
Absolutely.
gig. And you
Let
go
me-
to your principal and say, can me and my band play? Here's an audition tape.
Oh yeah. Let me say this, and he will back me on this. I know he will. This starving artist idea, image, is bogus.
Yeah, it is.
You buy into
Come on,
that.
come
it's
on.
not real. You can make money.
Where's the organ?
You can make money
That's right.
playing guitar and being an artist and doing original tunes or doing cover tunes or mixing it up. Don't buy into the starving artist thing. It's a lie. You don't have to starve.
I'm going to go ahead and get even worse with it. You ready? Starving artist equals something. It equals lazy.
Woo, now.
It equals I'm an artist and I'm not gonna sell anything because it's whatever. It's lazy. Work hard. Take everything that would apply to a hardworking individual. Right? Be on time. We're gonna talk about.
Absolutely.
We're not getting into all this.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother day.
Yeah.
But you're
Absolutely.
right. You can make a living doing
It's a
this.
job,
folks.
man. It's a job, and it's a privileged job.
It's a balling job. So, I am pretty ADD. That's my bag. Here's that left turn. All right. Now I'm going to get that other left turn that I went to get in the first place. We were doing that kind of thing. We were going to the principal of the high schools and saying, "Can we play for this?" And then student body would come to us and ask us if we could play stuff. All right. We're playing a tailgate party at this high school, a rival high school of ours. We're playing for their tailgate parties. We just started playing for everybody's tailgates. Remember that?
Yeah.
So Justin is up there. Now I'm going to tell you something. We had no reservations about the fact that we were the rock and rollers. All right. Now there was no question in any of our minds that we were not there to rock your socks off, and we were the people who were going to do that.
Absolutely.
So Justin, having said all that, is up there with no shirt on. You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, dude.
All right. Justin's up there, and we're playing like Alive or something by Pearl Jam, and Justin's mom, little Connie, and little Connie's about. When I say little Connie, she's about 4'11", standing on her tiptoes. She busts it up to that stage in front of all the kids, in front of everybody out there who's pumped up about this football game, listening to this crazy band up there crushing it. And she jerks a knot in his butt and says, "You get off of that stage right now and put a shirt back on and act like you've had some raisin, boy."
Listen, man, I could have wanted to be Slash from LA all I wanted to. But I was a suburban dude from the city. It was not at all rough. And I got called out. I appreciate that too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mama's always there to bring you right back
Absolutely.
to square one.
Absolutely.
That's right.
That's a
We're
good one.
back to humbled again.
Oh man.
So let's see. We rode that horse for a while doing all that.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first kind of? Oh, let's go ahead and just call it a tour. Do you remember the first tour, the first travel thing we went on?
To the beach?
Yep.
Absolutely. We got, so I'll say this. Do you
18?
remember? Do you remember? We were 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we got this gig, and I had to call and ask my mom if I could go. And that was a whole thing of like me being like, "But Mom, but come on, Mom." Anyway, because we were rock stars. And do you remember? So before we get to that, that's a good story. Do you remember the first demo that we recorded that got us some of these first gigs?
Yeah, I did. We went. Let's see. We went to a church, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a buddy of ours ran sound at a church and said, "Oh no, he wasn't a buddy of ours. He was dating my sister."
Affectionately named Rims.
Oh, that's right, rims, because he had 22s on
He
his
had
car.
rims, and nobody else did. So what did we do? We exploited that fact about this
We
boy's
called
life.
that joker rims.
Hey, what's up, Rims? He was older than us. He had a car.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. God, I forgot about
Rims.
that. But he ran sound at a church, a big church, I
Yeah.
think. And they had like a big soundboard and all that kind of stuff. And he told us, I guess just trying to get in good with the family or whatever, but we totally took him up on it.
Absolutely.
He told us, if you boys want to come and record, I'll record you at the church. And we were like, can we play this kind of music at church? And he was like, nobody will be there. And I was like, sweet.
Oh, he's like, I can get it on a CD for you that night. And we were like, sign us up.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we did.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. Good God.
So that is
forgot
what
that.
we peddled. It was a recording with us and two other dudes where we did Fire by Jimi Hendrix. We did Devil Went Down to Georgia by Charlie Daniels. We did
all that
Helter
on the-
Skelter.
Helter Skelter, yeah. Let's see. There was something else. Oh, we did Eclipse.
Yeah, we did.
We did Brain Damage and Eclipse.
What a cool thing to have done.
I've still got a copy of that. I'll find that. But yeah, we were peddling this thing around like we were salesmen. We were like,
Oh, man.
yo, our band. And anyways, somehow, and I don't remember how. I think I did. I think I contacted the club at the beach,
Yeah.
and they took us up on it.
Yeah, they did.
And we were a couple 18-year-old kids, and I'll tell you this, they booked us for a weekend. You remember that?
2 nights.
And
Friday night, Saturday.
do you remember how they paid us?
I think they something in beer. I don't know.
It was just in beer.
It was just beer.
It was just in beer. They saw us coming a mile away. They said, "You boys are going to come down here and provide." I mean, listen, I'm not like we were pretty good. Like,
Oh, yeah, I mean,
we're a tough band.
burning it down. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got quality entertainment for an entire weekend for the cost of like, I don't know, like a case of beer, maybe.
Maybe.
And like we went all the way. It was like 250
Dude,
mile drive.
It's a joint in North Myrtle Beach at the time it was called the Big Tuna. Now it's called Molly Darcy's.
That's right. That's right.
So Molly Darcy's, if you're familiar with the North Myrtle area, that was our
It's right at Cherry
like-
Grove. Yeah.
yeah.
Man,
our
that was
first spot.
it's hilarious.
One of them, yeah.
You know what? I believe we. Okay. All right. Yeah. We didn't have any money because we didn't get paid. So did we sleep in a tent?
We had a tent that we slept in a tent. I don't think we slept the first night, but yes, we ended up sleeping in our tent.
Yeah.
We walked around the beach and stuff. Like, listen, this is a blast, folks.
Oh, jeez. We're 18 years old. Are you
This
kidding
is a
me?
blast.
This is we could have been on stage we could have been on stage at the Apollo playing to a sold out crowd, and it would have been no different.
And let me just tell you this. So it's the same 4 guys that recorded in this this church, this demo.
Mhm.
There was this band called Mama T that we were playing in, and
Mama T.
Mama T, and Caleb's mom's name is Teresa, so it's Mama T.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was so we're down there. We're not like we make a set list every night, right? But this is the set list. All right, we're gonna open up with Whip and Post, and then we're gonna play War Pigs, and then we're gonna play Remedy, and then we're gonna play Fire,
And then we're gonna play Comfortably Numb.
Comfortably Numb. I mean, I'm talking like you got like a group of 18-year-olds that are playing 20-minute Whip and Post.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate. Right out of the gate.
We always had the philosophy that you put the pedal to the floor.
Oh man.
Every single time you go out, you don't. There's no. Oh, this is a good opener. Oh, that's a good closer. It was no. What's the best thing we can hit them across the teeth with?
Right at
first
the beginning.
second. Oh, it's this. All right. Well, who cares if it's 20 minutes long? Let's
Absolutely.
bust out with that.
And we were playing originals mixed in there.
Uh huh.
It was fun, man. It was a good time.
That was a blast.
Absolutely.
I think he drove us 250 miles home in about 2.5 hours. Do you remember that?
Uh-huh.
I think Woody
We
was.
flew.
He was. Yeah.
In an Astra minivan.
Yeah, we were loaded down.
Loaded down.
Yep.
Flew back.
Hey, you got anything you want to put on that? You got anything you want to add to that?
Nah.
I'm going a step further. You ready?
All right.
All right. We were. Let's see. So there, we finished that part of high school off,
That was the beginning of college.
Right.
Yeah.
and then you left and went towards the coast, and I went up north to Boston, and actually, hang on, this is after college. So I left Boston and went to Tennessee,
Right.
and you're still out on the coast.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you a story. We're going to tell you a story.
Oh, wow.
And this is not going to be believable.
But listen to me. Hear me. This happened to us.
True story. I'm in Nashville at the time. Yep. And Jay and I mean, it's just always been like a brother to me. So we he came up to Boston and spent Thanksgiving with us and stuff like that, just me and my wife. And so I made this arrangement to, I was off the road for a little while there. And I remember that I was, I guess it was like a early weekday because we toured all like Thursday on. Anyways, I don't remember. I got a ticket to Fayetteville or to Raleigh. Was it Raleigh?
Raleigh, and then I picked you up and drove you to Fayetteville. Yeah.
That's right. And we had this plan that we were going to canoe the Cape Fear River from the top to Wilmington. We were going to take the Cape Fear from middle North Carolina, wherever that is. I don't remember where.
North Carolina,
yeah. And we were going to take that junk all the way out to the Pacific.
I mean,
to the
I researched
Atlantic
it.
Ocean.
Not the
Pacific Ocean.
We're not going to go there. I researched it, figured out how long it would take, figured out the current flow. This is what it should be.
Yeah.
Rented a canoe from Fort Bragg. Like, it was a whole thing.
It was a
man.
nasty canoe,
we were in cahoots
Military
with the military. It was like a whole. And Caleb was going to come do it with me, so we booked the ticket, came. We played a couple gigs to pay for it.
Yeah, that's right.
I think so. It ended up being a free trip.
That's right.
So there was music involved.
Yeah, we did, and we actually played one extra gig.
Oh.
And here's how that happened. So we had this whole thing. Justin was scientific about this. We had the whole thing charted out, how many miles we were supposed to go and how the current was going to carry it. So we had been in a massive drought in North Carolina that year, and the river was down real low, and the current was like still
Creeping.
And I mean, we were humping it all day. I mean, it was just like paddle after paddle after paddle, and we weren't going anywhere. And we're not exactly trained rowmen, or rowers.
Roads. Rowads. Roads.
Yeah, we weren't trained. Oh, geez, man, it took us forever. We were way behind. We knew where our markers were. We had it mapped out and everything. And we were supposed to hit a few dams. And one thing we didn't come across
was a dam.
Was the fact that the dam, 3 miles from the dam, pushes the water back. So we didn't account for paddling upstream every so often.
Yeah.
So we had this 3-day trip planned out that was going to end up taking like 4.5 days or something. Anyways, we didn't reach our point on day one. We paddled all day long. And by the way, I was in the front, and I remember, I was getting it, and then like all of a sudden, it was just getting super hard to paddle, and I was like, dude, we're not anywhere close to this dam. Why is it so hard to paddle right now? And I turn around, and I look behind me, and Justin is in the back of the canoe like this right here, laid up with a cigarette in his mouth going, I don't know what you're talking about. He just quit paddling.
Yeah.
Like, just all across the
Need a
board.
break.
I was like, why is it so, because I'm the only one doing the work right now. Okay. So look, let's fast forward. Go on, take us to the next level.
So we got towed. We ran across a couple of hooligans from who knows where, out in the middle of nowhere, and they had a little motor on this boat, and probably like a little 4 horsepower or something. They hooked it up to the canoe. We're like, yeah, dude, give us a tow.
Take us as far as you can take us.
They take us on down there. Sun's starting to set. So we're like, all right. So we didn't make it as far as we wanted to, but we made up some ground with that
Right.
boat. Maybe the current situation will improve tomorrow. We had some
MREs.
MREs to eat. That's what I was like. I knew it was some letters. Had some MREs to eat. I think it was lasagna that night. So we found a place. This little beachy area.
MREs never tasted better.
Oh, we were starving. So we pull up, we make a fire, we eat this food, and we crash, man. And we are out.
And we don't know where we're at.
Don't know.
You got to remember.
I mean, but I will say this: it's in the middle of nowhere. The Cape Fear River at this point was about, would you say, 50 yards across?
yeah, easy. I would say longer.
Probably longer than 50 yards.
Yeah.
Not a
Easy.
football field, but like somewhere in between there.
Yeah, that's how wide it was.
It was
yeah.
just a very wide situation.
And there's nothing around. I mean, it really is deliverance.
nothing going on.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere between
For miles.
Fayetteville and Wilmington. And we pull over and we camp out and we eat the MREs, got a fire going, kick it, go to sleep. And it's probably like, I don't know, 3 a.m. or it's pitch black, it's dark.
Yeah.
Caleb wakes me up. Dude, wake up. Something's going on. And I'm like, okay, what are you talking about? And so he's like, there's something going on, man. There's something going on. So he wakes me up. And I look out there and it's like your eyes are adjusting, something's happening. There is a wake hitting the bank of that water that's just like, whoosh, like something is just cruising down this river in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Huge, massive boat. So I'm like, all right, and I'm really at that time thinking like, dude, you're freaking out. Like I get that there's some stuff happening here, but like let's just go to sleep because I'm tired.
Yeah.
And
You kicked the fire up.
oh yeah, that's right. And about that time, so the fire, we're getting it rolling again because it's cold. I mean, it was actually kind of chilly.
Yeah.
So we get the fire rolling again, and about that time, I'll let you pick it up from here.
Engine shuts off.
Engine shuts off.
Couldn't have shut off more square right in front of where our fire just got relit.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, we're in the middle of nowhere, and this black boat pulls up, and big old boat,
Oh, it was huge.
and shuts off. Guys, we're in the middle of Cape Fear. We're in the middle of nowhere. Why is there a boat in the middle of the night out
And
there?
there's a dam not
Yeah.
far away.
Right.
It's not like this boat's going somewhere.
Right. So then, boat number 2 pulls up.
Straight up.
And by this time, we got our little fire going, and we're both...
Getting the eyes adjusted, trying to see what's going on.
And then we're whispering, what's going on? What is this?
What's happening?
And brother, I mean, it wasn't a, dude, what's going on before?
Wide slam open.
Not okay. So there's a lot of talk now because of stuff that's happened. People hear bump stocks and semi-automatics. These were no semi-automatics. These were automatic
Automatics.
weapons. This was a hold trigger, bullets fly.
Spray.
And it was coming everywhere. Now there was some loud. You remember the loud booms?
There was a couple of those. But I will say it wasn't just that you could hear it. And I'm going to get and see if he remembers this too. I'm going to get descriptive with you. I saw a muzzle flare.
Absolutely.
So there was a flash coming from the racket.
Towards us.
There was the sound, but then also it was the sound of rounds hitting the clay bank. So out here in eastern North Carolina, it's these banks is just muddy water, and the bank was a little bit elevated. And it was like they were just firing into the bank, so you could even hear the. I mean, you
And
could
we're
hear
20,
it.
and we're 20 feet off the bank.
Oh yeah, I mean we're just right there. So I mean,
So
clearly they're not hitting us, but it is like
yeah,
all up on.
we
us.
didn't get shot. we didn't
We
get
did
killed.
not get
So so the bullets, yes, they hit the bank, but they were popping twigs and sticks that were here. Like my head's here and these twigs are here, and bullets are hitting things that are
around us.
And I think very quickly we both realized, oh, we need to be leaving,
running,
because they're shooting at us, and
we gotta go. So we haul, and I mean turn, run, like just absolutely. We're facing this way, we turn the opposite way. It's still pitch black, and we run. And when I mean we're running through stuff, branches are hitting us in the face. We're kind of hopping through stuff, hopping around stuff, just trying to get out of here. All of a sudden, I remember hitting a wall. It's like earth. So we got to kind of scramble up this hill that we had run into.
pitch black.
Pitch black. There's a big...
No wonder we didn't break our legs.
Absolutely. I mean, I had no idea what I was running into. I was just flying.
We were all cut to pieces the next day.
Oh, and we crawl up this like embankment, and there's this big tree right there. We just get on the far side of this tree.
Had a root dug out. You remember that?
Yeah, it's kind of dug out. It made like a nice little spot. So we're sitting up in this thing, man. Granted, this is what we've got between us, because we decide we just ran a good little sprint. We're just gonna hunker down and just be silent. I've got a K-bar knife.
What would you say, like quarter of a mile into the woods?
Yeah,
maybe?
we probably ran a 400.
Yeah, we won one lap around the track.
Yeah, that's about
straight
it.
though.
Just straight back. I've got a knife, like a marine issue knife. He's got a snub nose 38. We're sitting on the other side of this tree. All right, we've decided to stop running.
6 bullets for anybody who's
6 bullets.
If you don't know what a 38
and a
is,
knife.
we had a snub nose 38, which this is wild animal. Okay, I was just thinking we might come into some crazy animals, and the barrel on a snub nose 38 is called a snub nose because the barrel's about that long, which means you can hit about nothing with it.
I would be hard pressed to hit this amp, to be honest with you.
Right here, it might shoot Justin. So yeah, it's bad. We weren't gonna do anything, but I had it, and I had 6 bullets.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So pick it up from there. What happens while we wait?
So
while we sit there.
So all that was terrifying, folks, but it did not get terrifying until we were sitting there, and all of a sudden the gunshots stop, and then we hear them get off the freaking boats.
And they're walking through the woods.
And then they're walking through the woods.
And we hear.
I mean, leaves, sticks. It's like, okay. And I just knew. And you got to remember, so like this was pre, this might have been right around the time the smartphone came out.
2007, 2008.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah. We didn't have smartphones though. And we had no cell service, literally in the middle of nowhere. And I knew right then and there, this is how we're going to die.
This is where we're going out.
And nobody's going to know how we're dead, because these people are going to kill us, and nobody's going to know we were even out here.
Absolutely.
That makes me kind of stressed just thinking about that again.
So we hear these people walking around, and it's like, and listen, like this is when I think back on it, we didn't like, and this isn't just because we were that smart. I think it's because we were that scared. We weren't even like, dude, what do you think's going on? What do you think? We did not speak. We didn't say, did you hear that? Can you hear this? We're both experiencing the same thing, and these footsteps walking. They were over to my left, as I remember.
Yeah,
it was like the river was in front of me.
Yep.
They were to my left. And then it gets weird because I started to hear these footsteps get around behind me. And so then it's like there are footsteps behind me. And I'm thinking, we gotta be quiet, man. Like we can't say anything. Our insides, we're doing this.
Your stomach starts churning.
Oh.
You're so scared.
Oh.
It's so true. We're like, crap!
You just go, be quiet. I can't stop it. Do you not understand what's happening? Stomach. But it's just, there it is. So I'm like, our intestines are going to give us away.
Oh, so nothing. They didn't. I mean, obviously
They didn't find us,
folks. We're still here. They get back on the boat and they go. Both people. I don't know. And to this day, we'll get to the conclusion of what this was, but we don't know. But we wait until morning, and then we hear them not for a couple hours, and we come out of that little root embankment we were in, and we make our way back, and nothing's been messed with in our camp.
Nope.
So we begin the longest, let's say it was 50 yards. We began the longest 50-yard paddle of our lives going back across the river, because what we knew was there was a dam this way.
There's a dam, so we knew down this way there's a dam.
Several miles, but still a dam. They couldn't go that way far.
They did not go back that way. So they went that way, and we haven't seen them again. So we got to get back across this river. We also knew there is a highway. There should be a highway somewhere over there. Like if we got to cross the river, and then
we had a map.
Keep going. Yeah. So we
did
the longest 50-yard paddle of our lives.
And when you're in the middle of that river, and that just happened, and you're stuck in the middle of the river, and you know they went that way and they have to go back this way, and you're still sitting there going, dude, we're still like 10 minutes from getting across this thing. Like,
yeah, we gotta go.
That was a really weird thing.
That was.
We ended up dragging the canoe out.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up hitchhiking back to a highway, and then we stayed somewhere on the side of the road until your girlfriend drove several hours to pick us up.
We got a ride back to Fayetteville.
And got back to Fayetteville. Now on to our music. And then we played a gig that night.
Yeah, we didn't plan on playing that night because we thought we were going to be in the woods, but we got a gig because we hustled. We were persistent.
See where this all comes back?
We peddled our music and we made some more money.
And then we were over it, and that was it.
It was good.
And then we just have a story that nobody believes.
But let me tell you this. That mess was true.
That mess was 100% true. We looked up. Apparently, there's a big problem on the Cape Fear, at least there was then, with river pirates.
That's
is what it's called. Drug deals and stuff like that.
A lot of people get dumped in that river, no joke. Like, it is a crime-heavy area, and they do kind of run up and down there. So, I don't know.
We didn't know that going into it. We didn't look into that.
The dude who gave us the hitchhike ride back to the highway made some comment about, like, we were straight up with him. We were like, dude, this crazy stuff happened, man. You'll never believe what happened. You got to get us out of here, man. You got to get us to the highway. So we're like freaking
dude had
out.
Beer cans all in the back. Oh, of his truck.
We're just sitting in the back of this dude's like S10 pickup. Like, dude, we got to go. Let me tell you. And he was like, oh yeah, them boys put on a show for you last night, didn't they? And then it was just like this, just enough to make you think like, like we got to go, man. we got to get out of this hitchhiking situation too.
Mercy.
Oh, merciful.
That's it. And that was the kind of the way it's been from then on.
Yeah.
Minus the gunshots.
No gunshots.
It's kind of been just like that. Except now we have children, and the children they kind of elevate our heart rates to about the same level as the gunshots on a daily basis. So I'm thinking now if we went back into the Cape Fear and we were able to encounter the same situation, we'd be able to handle that no problem.
I'd be like, dude, we're over here. You want an MRE?
What would you like? Would you like some dinner? I have an MRE here too.
We would also be hospitable.
We would be very pleasant.
Absolutely.
That would be very nice to them. Gentlemen, your bullets are flying slightly too close for comfort. If you could maybe aim them that way.
If you wouldn't mind so much as to aim away from us, we would be delighted to offer you a meal. If you would just not shoot us.
Hey, you know what we should do? We should play a tune.
We should
play a tune, something we used to play way back in the day. And I don't know if Wishbone Ash is going to be able. I can't remember.
What do you want to play? What song?
Do you have a pick?
Yes, I can get one right here. Do you have a pick?
Yep. Let's see. What would you like to play?
I don't know.
You want to play a little? You want to do a little Statesboro?
Yeah, let's do some Statesboro Blues.
A little G.
In the key of G.
Ready? Well now, wake up now, mama. Turn your lamp down low. Wake up now, mama. Turn your lamp down low. You ain't got no nerve, baby. Turning Uncle John from your door. Take it, Jake.
I love that woman better than any woman I've ever seen. Well, Lord, I love that woman
time my daddy left me. You know my daddy died and left me. Said I ain't good looking, baby, but I'm somewhat sweet and kind. Going to the country, baby, do you want to go? I said if you can't make it, baby, your sister Lucille said you want to go. Lord, I sure would take it too. Look out now. Wake up, mama, turn your lamp down low. What you say, Jay?
I said, wake up, mama, turn your lamp down low.
You ain't got no nerve, baby, turning Uncle John from your door. Ooh.
That's right.
Make them say, All right. Hey, guys, seriously. Jay, you got anything else you want to add?
Man, no, I just hope, listen, I hope that you have been compelled by this tornado of random musings to talk about music. And, but yeah, just absolutely. Me and this dude have played a lot of music together and we've lived a lot of life together. And hopefully that will come through in all of the other stuff we do. The rest of the top fives, the other album reviews, that there's something to that's good to you.
For sure.
Absolutely.
There's more stories to come too.
Oh man.
But for now, it's been a pleasure having this evening with you. From Justin Moorhead, Caleb Davis, myself. Or is it myself, Caleb Davis? Or you
Peace
just
out.
say Caleb Davis? It doesn't matter. Either way. We'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out.
Awesome.
Hey y'all, thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. See you next time.